I work with lots of custom home builders, and one thing that always comes up is the amount of time we spend digging through price lists from suppliers. We might have a price list from your main timber supplier. Main timber suppliers could be a hardware store, and the things with hardware stores and building supply stores is they don't just sell your timber. They sell everything, plants, pots, things like that. Imagine you say, great, I've been given a price list from my main timber supplier. Now that price list is gonna have 10,000 line items in it, and you care about 200 of them. You're not just gonna have one supplier. You might have supplier 1, supplier 2, supplier 3. So what that means is you have 30,000 line items and you only care about 200 of them. A timber supplier or a hardware store is not going to be able to give you prices on how much a brickie is going to charge you to install a brick, or it's not going to be able to give you prices on how much your plasterer is going to charge per square meter to install your plasterboard. So what that means is now you have the same problem with, now I need a brickie price list, and the brickie price list might have 15 items in it and I only need 5 of them. But if I use 2 brickies, then I'm going to have 2 of those price lists. Same with the plastering, same with the roofing, same with the concreter, same with the steel fixers. So what that means is data overload and just stress and time, admin error from sorting through all these things. So how do we get around this problem? Because we know prices are important and we know getting the prices from our suppliers are important, but how do we make sure that it's easy for us to manage? So the thing about this is volume or project builders have solved this. They run something that's called a price book. What is a price book? A price book is the idea of taking all the relevant pricing information from all of your different suppliers, trades, subcontractors, and collating them into one easy to use and manage location. Now, instead of having to go and search for a supplier, then search their price list, but then also have to compare it to another supplier's price list. But this supplier doesn't supply that item in that size, so then I've got to go to somewhere else. Instead of having those headaches, all they're doing is going to, what am I pricing my job at for this item? I go to my database, my price book to find the answer. How do we set up the price book? What's important to have in it, and how do we use it? What we're gonna do is we're gonna have a look at Wonderbuild and how I use that to set mine up. Now, if you don't have Wonderbuild, you can still take the same principles and the same things I'm going to show you and put it into whatever software you're using. We're just using Wonderbuild today to have a look at it. I want to talk you through some of the important points that I have in my price list here and why they're important. First thing I'm going to start with is what Wonderbuild called costing item, but really what it is the name or description for the item. The key things about this are you've got to make it generic enough so that you know what it is, but it's not so detailed that if one supplier stocks one particular brand of something and another supplier stocks another particular brand, but it's really the same product, that it's going to confuse people. But it also does need to be detailed enough that you're not going to accidentally order the wrong thing. For instance, like I've got here, I've got 300 series blocks and 200 series blocks. Now, if I just had concrete block, for an example, I could accidentally order the wrong size. Or if I just had block work, masonry block, things like that, they're not quite detailed enough to make sure I'm going to order the correct thing. What I've done here is I haven't listed it as this brand's block, this model number, because one supplier might not stock that brand, but I've made it generic enough so that everybody in my team is also going to be able to understand it. So again, what we're doing there is creating a system that makes it easy to manage for our whole team, but also so that we clearly know what we're going to get, which is going to save us time of have I ordered the right thing, has I priced it right, all of those kind of answers as well. The next thing that's really important is unit of measure, or UAM for short. What is really important about unit of measure is understanding how you buy something. So blocks, you could be given a square meter price, you could be given a per pallet price, things like that. But when we look at things like sand, we don't buy them per each as such, we buy them per cubic meter. Great example of unit of measures is timber. We buy per linear meter, but we can't buy every timber in every linear meter length. We can only buy some timber in certain lengths. We can only buy some timber treatments in certain lengths, things like that. So understanding how you're going to buy something is really, really important. Next thing we got is what our cost is. Really, really straightforward. You want to know what you're going to be paying for these items. When you're putting together your price book, think about what am I going to be allowing myself to spend on this product. An item like 300 series blocks, like I have here, if I have one supplier is charging me $6.30 a block, another supplier is charging me $6.40 a block, What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my costing in my price book is enough to cover both suppliers. So I'm going to allow it as $6.47 like I have here, because what that means is it doesn't matter who I buy it from. I'm going to be priced enough into it that I'm not going to lose money on it. The next thing we're going to look at is cost code. So I actually don't run cost codes at my item level inside my price book. I run my cost codes through my category and my job, but I just thought it'd be good to mention because what's important about a cost code is it gives another way for you to track things on the job. Depending on how your business is set up and what kind of builder you are and how you want to track things, you might want to set up a cost code structure to track individual items. Or like me, I run my cost codes throughout my job so I can see across this job how are we looking at the structure stage or how are we looking at the substructure stage. But it is a really important factor to understand. It's just a matter of personal preference of where you run that information from. The last one I'm going to talk to you about is a SKU code. Essentially what a SKU code does is controls how much that item costs. The reason I've got Blockwork here to show you as an example is because Blockwork is a really, really cool product and a really, really versatile product that doesn't just get used in the one spot. So if we think about in real life construction, 300 series blockwork or 200 series blockwork can be used in retaining walls, build up when we're building slabs up, full blockwork walls, full blockwork houses. There are so many different use cases for this blockwork, but the reality is it shouldn't matter where I use this block, it should still cost me the same amount. What a SKU code does is a SKU code helps us look at it and go, it doesn't matter where in the job, where in the category, or which category it's in for this particular project, I still want to know I'm only paying the same amount for this block no matter where it goes. Essentially what we've done is we've found a solution to one of the biggest problems that custom builders are going to have, which is how do we manage all this data that we've got? Like we said at the start, we've got prices from so many different locations, some that are double up, but how do we filter that so it's actually usable for us? This is what the price book is. So it takes that information, it puts it in the one spot. We've gone through what are the key bits of information that we need to manage. But what we've really done is solved admin issues, potential pricing issues, potential confusion between staff members. But what we've also done is built a system that's now really easy and simple to not only set up, but to use and track through our projects.